Greetings. This is just like the last video started with how does a poem come about. This is how does a video come about, and it's quite amazing the way this just unfolds. And I was thinking about this just prior to making this. It's various strands of things that have happened today that I'm piecing together into a cohesive story, as it were. It's pretty much like the subconscious does with events during the day, and in a dream it can rearrange them and give you a whole new story. Where this information all comes from, it comes back to the question of what is an idea, where does it come from? So I'm really just a storyteller. I can't really take credit for this. It's just what comes out of discussion and various things I've looked at. So it started with having a sort of online messenger conversation with Pippi on a String channel. Now, before I even go on to that, I'll just give a shout out to Pippi on a String. She does a very different, very individual type of tarot card reading, which it's a multi-reading. So you can read it at a personal, internal level. You can read it at an external level. You can read it on a sort of world stage level. And it all sort of makes sense. It's like everything. It may not appeal to everybody. You may not even think tarot cards are a good thing. I don't know. That's personal perspective. But anyway, I'm going to give a shout out to Pippi on a String channel. So in our conversation, now I'm going to suggest here that I'm going to sell you something. We'll talk about the costs and the hidden costs as we go, and whether it's a sell-out or a sell-in. And it revolves around the word infusion. So keep that in mind, the word infusion. This is a job to piece put together in a way, but bear with me, we will get there. Earlier on today, and I apologise if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, comment to the last video from a Suzanne, I think it's Kakai or Casey, I don't know how you pronounce it, so apologies. But she wrote, and I quote, "The volume seems to be low on my phone with this video. So I found a beautiful quiet morning spot. This ties in perfectly. Now, you can look at anything from a negative polarity and say, oh, the volume's not very high, be it the equipment you're listening on, or I know there's issues with the microphone. I'm trying to sort that one out. I think I'm going to have to invest in a new microphone. But what Suzanne did was take herself into a more conducive environment. So you could say it's an infusing. Think like with tea. It can be infused with a particular flavour given to you from nature, say blackcurrant or cranberry or, I don't know, lime and raspberry or something like that. So it's an infusion, it's adding a flavour and giving a different perspective onto the tea. So what Suzanne did was also she's infused into listening to the poem on the video. She's infused nature into that to make a nice background setting, to make it a more pleasant experience for herself. So what do I mean by an infusion? We're going to have to go into a bit of etymology here. This will all hopefully make sense then. Incidentally, which also ties into this whole idea of infusion. Now, don't be triggered by the sort of talking about God, talking about Jesus. But listen to The Sacred Secretion and The Inner Guru by John St. Julian Baba Wangama channel. I'll put the link in the description. It's basically talking about the same thing. It's that Kundalini rising, that Christ consciousness, that rising the energy within oneself. It's an infusion as opposed to a transfusion. So let me just, let's go through this. So let's get this on the... E is energy, and it's upper and lower case. So you can see here the E on here that's the I, the capital I. That's basically your spine, your higher self. Now you've got three roots. You've got your positive, your negative, and your neutral in the middle. And the neutral is the shortest path. It's balanced. So what if you take away that negative polarity? You've still got your I. You've still got that shorter centre path. And you've got the positive perspective only. A right angle, you could say, there as well. And in its lower case, like that, an F, or it could be like that. But going back to this F, does that not look a little bit like the letter T as well? Now, as I said before, the letter T consists of I, capital I, the I organisation, and you want that to be at its highest level. So there's your T. So the F, when it is flipped over, it's now become a hook. It's tied to earth. So it's a little God. It's you and I. It's children of God, as it were, shall we say. So the F, very useful. There's no good or bad, because it depends on the input side. What's the intention that's coming into this shape, this symbol, this sign, this sigil? We can make use of it, can we not? So there's the letter U, representing you and I, representing us. Now, does that look like something else to you? Let me make it clear. Let's put a couple of little eyes in it, shall we? It's unlimited. It's not, but now it's more limited. It's starting to become maybe slightly more apparent as a familiar symbol. The OS, the operating system, and then you put energy into that. See, what you get then is something that is of use, which you fuse. Now, fuse is an interesting spell, because fuse means to bring, you can blow a fuse, but of course you can also fuse things together. Now, what if you take I, singular, yourself, and of course, what seems to be, if the sky is a lie, which it seems to be, it's something that's projected up, then falls back down again, which you then have to raise up. The Kundalini rising, the Christ consciousness, the sacred secretion. It's on the heart monitor. It's the wave, the infuse. So you turn inwards. So you're not selling out. I'm not trying to actually sell you something. I'm trying to sort of switch on some cells, or help you switch on cells in yourself. There's no transfusion, there's no confusion with this. It's an infusion. So it's always going inward. It's not selfish to go inward because that is where all the answers are. Another way of expressing it is about the sacred secretion and the inner guru. And as John talks on there, you are your own guru. When you sort of create this new circuit within yourself. Also sort of relating to this is what Theoria Apophasis channel talks about in the Secrets of Fields and Energy, talking about magnetism. And if I've got this right, and if I understand what he's saying correctly, a more powerful magnet has a smaller field, and you've got to bring it closer for it to sort of magnetically attract something. But if it has a low power in the middle, it has a greater sort of field of attraction. And I think you can see that played out. Just look at, okay, they're helped by these multiple eyes, artificial eyes, i.e. screens. So you've got like basically something like this multi-tentacled sort of thing with televisions on the end of it, and they're like eyes looking at you, trying to get your attention and obviously cause attention. So when you think about these so-called stars and these politicians and things, and it's the most inane and the most stupid videos and little video shorts that you might get on feeds and things, and they've had millions and millions of views because they're so shallow. Because they reach out to a wider field. But the strongest, purest pull reaches out in a very small circle around you, which I think also is a huge clue with this energy that we have within ourselves and finding within ourselves, that it's said about, you're not here to save the world, you're here to do for you, and that's not being selfish, that's doing the inner work. And then, yeah, let's see if we can set up the power and release the potential wider. That's what things like YouTube and social media platforms are for. They're neutral, although they don't seem to be neutral, but they're there to be used, to infuse, to get rid of some of the confusion. The things you should be, I was going to say refusing, but that has a double meaning, because when you refuse, you rejoin to it again. So you're taking an active part by pushing against it. But I think in the word with the S, the spirit, you see what that sort of hides within that. It's about you finding balance in the energy. It's amazing, this duality of it all. So you've got the F, which looks incomplete, but it goes towards the completion when you see it sort of mirror with the E of energy, as it were. So that's how these videos come together. So just to sum up in a way, I mean, we've got Pippi on a string conversation. We've got Suzanne's comment to a video. We've got a couple of other channels there. We've got Julian, and we've got Theoria Apophasis channel. So that's like 4 ingredients, 4... Where are we? I've lost myself with the camera. That's 4 seeds, and then, well, the fertile soil is within me. So I'm now germinating those seeds of an idea, and then spreading them out like a tree, as it were, to reach out, to branch out, shall we say, and help you find that sort of paradise within yourself. Because let's be really honest here. Nobody is going to love you like you love you. You are your best guide, your best guru, when you do the best you can for yourself. And that's always getting to the heart of the matter. Well, the matter is the material, and what's right at the centre of the matter is the heart. Jason on Archaic's channel says when the mathematics all show the same thing, that it reveals the truth. Working in numbers, yes, definitely, and it's also true when you look at the different perspectives of these things. We can look at this in the terms of magnetism and the earthing plane. It's right in the middle, the sort of hourglass, the dialectric of it, the source, the intent that radiates outwards. In terms of talking about the earth and the toroidal fields and things, again, it's in the centre, the neutral. Look at what the material realm presents to you. Those little obscure countries you don't really hear very much about, and you wonder how their economies survive. What are they exporting? What are they importing? How has these tiny little principalities and countries got so much wealth? Places like Monaco and Liechtenstein and Switzerland and even Sweden, neutral. And they seem to do very well by staying neutral. Again, it's a system clue. You want the world to change. The way you change the world is to change yourself. And this is the beauty of the duality of this realm. Nothing has changed except how you feel. That's what's changed. So when you infuse, take something you've had an experience of, that's a happy moment, that feeling of elation. Now, devil's in the detail. It doesn't matter what the circumstances were of where you got that feeling, but you've had the experience. If you can draw on that feeling again, without attaching it to a specific event, but just draw on that feeling, you got blood that's circulating around your body. It starts off this wonderful chemical change that will spread throughout your body. You want to spread the word of Christ, as it were, is another way of interpreting this, but it's saying the same thing. This internal microcosm, universe. So you're spreading, shall we say, the positivity, the word of God, the Christ consciousness. It's going around the blood with that feeling of joy and elation within oneself, and it is spreading it to all four corners, so that's down every limb. It's radiating out from your sun, from your heart. It's just different ways of saying exactly the same thing, but it depends on what perspective that you're going to have on it, whether you want to attach it to a belief system or you just want to feel it inside yourself. No one can implant those well, you can import the feelings, you can take on board the feelings. You are a vessel after all. But be careful what cargo you're taking on. Are you carrying unnecessary baggage that you can actually put down and let go? Think of it like a hot air balloon as well. It ascends by ditching sandbags to gain more height. It's letting go. It's another expression shown in the material realm. This is the thing. I've said it before. You've got the mirror. Now, most people are transfixed by what they're seeing in the mirror, and forgetting about the mirror itself, the mechanism that provides both sides of that mirror. But remember also, that reflection can't move or do anything unless you move. So you create what that reflection does. We are creating our own heaven or hell. Now, it is very much like a computer game. The background scene will just play out anyway, but if you change your perspective on how you see it and how you feel about it, the magic will just unfold. And then you become like the big strong magnet that will just radiate out, not quite so far, but a lot more powerful. which will link to other magnets, and this just spreads. It becomes the golden spiral, just like the little e, the little energy. The small, lower powered magnet radiates out further. So a little energy from within us can radiate out a long way as well. It is the start of the golden spiral. If you imagine it just keeps going, it will just keep spreading out and spreading out. It's E. You can capitalize on it, and you can see it in three ways. You can see it as negative, positive, or just stay neutral, take the short route. Right, well, that's gone on for 20 minutes. But this is just the way the videos unfold, so I'm going to say ta-ta for now. Hopefully that's sort of brought a bit of clarity. Otherwise we're going to end up talking about clouds. So that's a whole different subject. So ta-ta for now, and love to you all.